All right, so here is equation number 2 from the notes. So again, I have it set up on tiles so we can at least visualize that as we're recording the algebra. So on the left-hand side, I have 3 x's. Then down here in the opposite region, I have x plus 6. Okay. On the right-hand side, whoops, I don't want that, right? On the right-hand side, I just have plus 8. So all these things should not be there. Let's get rid of those. And so we have plus 8. So our general steps for solving an equation is the first thing is we're going to take care of anything in the opposite region. So anything in the opposite region we're going to flip first. We're going to flip first anything from the opposite region. And so on the left-hand side here we have things in the opposite region. So we're going to move them to the top, and when we move them we flip them. So positives become negatives. And so I'm just going to copy down what was in the positive region. So I didn't do anything with the 3x's. This positive x got flipped up and became negative x. And now all of these little ones, when they move, they get flipped up. And so now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so now that positive 6 became a negative 6. And that's by far the most common mistake, is forgetting to flip both of the things that are in those set of parentheses. They're both in the opposite region. They both have to get flipped. Okay? The right-hand side didn't have anything in the opposite region, so I'm just going to copy that down. Copy down the 8. Next step would be to move any x's. If there are x's on both sides, get them all on one side. Well, in this case, we don't have to worry about that. The x's are only on the left. So now I'm just going to start looking for 0 pairs. And so that's, again, a positive and a negative that cancel each other out. And so this positive and this negative x cancel each other out. And so they're gone. And I now look and see what I have left. Well, now there are 2 positive x's left. And you can see that algebraically over here. 3x minus 1x is 2x. The minus 6's are still sitting there. And the 8 is still sitting there. Our goal now is to get the x's by itself. So no x's over here. X is over here, so I want all these numbers to move to the other side, right? And when we move them, they flip, right? And so what I'm doing now is I'm adding 6 to both sides. Adding 6 to both sides and seeing what I get. On the left-hand side, I just have 2 x's left. On the right-hand side, I've now got, if I count those all up, I've got 14 little ones, right? And so now I want to know how much each x is worth. And so now I have to sort of break each side into 2 groups. And so I have to break the left-hand side into a group with 1 x each. And then over here, if I break them in, whoops, not flipping things, break them into groups, of course, I'm trying to figure out how many are going to be in each group. Well, if there are 14 on the right-hand side, then I'm going to need 7 in each group. And so I've really just divided each side into 2 groups. So I record that. Each side into 2 groups. On the left side, I now have 1x. I don't need to write the 1. And on the right side, I have 2 groups of 7. And so this is now telling me that each x must equal 7 units, which is what I wanted to know. So I've solved that equation, right? Visualizing with the tiles is helpful. Remember, the first thing I did was took anything in the opposite region, flipped it up to the region above.